Hi, I'm going to show you how to configure your bots for large runs. Large runs that might involve scraping hundreds of pages or doing hundreds of rows of data entry into a website. Use the template that you find on our website or in our Chrome extension to get you started. I'm now going to walk you through step by step how to set it up and how to personalize the bot to your own requirements. I'm Alex Barlow, co-founder of Axiom. Let's dive in. Quickly, before we start, we do have other templates that help you get started with Axiom that show you the basics of scraping, how to use conditional jumps, or enter data into web forms. And please click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, let's talk you through this template. So it's another template that starts with a Google Sheet at its foundation. But what are the advantages of learning to configure bots for large runs? Well, the main advantage is that this bot goes row by row and it writes data row by row. So if the bot stops or is interrupted, you can just click start and be confident that it's picking up from where it's left off. That's why we recommend this method. It's a lot better for when you're doing long runs. Okay, let's get started. So as I mentioned, the foundation of this design template is that it's run off a Google Sheet. So you're going to probably need a Google Sheet already set up with loads of data. And that data could be a list of links you want to scrape through, or it could be rows of data you wish to enter into a web form. Okay, so presuming you've got the template installed, which you do with a simple click, all you need to do is get your sheet ready, and then we'll start. I'll show you how to configure it from there. Let's open the bot. This is what you'll see up here when the bot is installed. The first step is a read step. As I mentioned, the foundation, the starting point is a Google Sheet. So attach your Google Sheet, and in that sheet you're probably going to want two tabs. One to store the link or the data you're going to process, and another to log what has been processed, what's been scraped. To simply get this off the ground, enter your Google Sheet, select the first sheet name that has the data in. The important part is this: first cell, last cell. We only want to pass one row of data. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a quick sip. One row of data into the next step. Because we're going to do a loop further down, what we don't want to do is pass loads of data into the next step and trigger a loop in the interact. So if you've just got a set of links in column A, you can just do A1 to A1. But if you've got extra columns of data to input into a form, you may want to do something like AD1 to include the extra columns, or it might even be AE. Obviously, go up the alphabet depending on how many columns you have. That'll be that step set up. You'll see a single line of preview here instead of the normal three, and that's when you know you've got it right. Okay, next we've got our interact step. And so what we're going to do here is that you will either pass, basically you could either, if your longer batching job is to scrape a load of links, you would just insert your links here to allow the bot to visit the page, and then you'd add a subset to scrape. If you're doing data entry, you might just want to put a URL in here and then add your sub-step. So that's up to you how you configure that enter URL step. Okay, back to the sub-step. So in the interact, we'll leave that up to you. How do you want to set your bot up? What do you want to do? You've got all these sub-steps to choose from. You can click on elements. You can enter text if you want to interact with forms, select lists, and of course you've got the get data step in there to extract data. So just configure that interact step to what you want to do. Next up, once that's done and you're ready to progress the bot, we've got a write step up next. Why do we use that? We just use that to output any data from the interact step. Maybe you've done some scraping, so here you put the name of your sheet and you choose the sheet name, or you choose the second tab you made for the output of data. And of course you'd make sure the interact data is being passed. Now, if you just want to record a row of data that is being sent for the submission, I would recommend you actually just pass the Google Sheet data here, and then it will just output it row by row, and then you'll know that data has been submitted. So we've got a bit of flexibility there. Okay, next up, and this is the important part that will trigger the loop in in this bot. So again, you'd add the sheet that you set up, and then you'd leave this pretty much unchanged. So we want to delete one row. Why? Because remember at the start, we're only going to pass a single row of data. And so to do the loop, to set up the loop we're going to do here, what we're going to do is the bot will basically pass a row of data. The interact step does the things that we want to do. We record that that action's been taken. Then we delete that row of data, because in the final step we've got here, we're going to jump straight up the top to repeat the process. And this is our loop. So this jump step is effectively setting our loop up. And here you can put in the amount of loops you want to do. So when testing your bot, I really recommend that you only do 1 or 2 loops, and then when you're ready to go live, you can put in the higher number. Now keep in mind, you'll have to go up the tiers if you want to run your bots for longer and longer. So if you want to do thousands of rows, you're going to either have to do that in smaller amounts, or you're going to have to get a higher tier. Cool. I hope that's helpful. This is a really good design pattern to learn for Axiom. I use this one every day, and I'm teaching more and more customers this every day. Thank you for trying Axiom. Do click subscribe if you want to keep following and get more videos. And of course, check our templates out on our website. We're just updating them, and we're going to be releasing more and more. Okay, thank you.